Hello Pisces, and welcome to your July 2025 tarot card reading. Let's go ahead and get started. I know I'm really late with these. It's simply just due to my health reasons. I am going to kind of carry this reading over into August as well, so we do get still like a full month's worth. So it doesn't have to be strictly July, okay? It's just July and on into August, give or take a little bit, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look, Pisces, and what is it that you need to know for July and on into August. All right, we have the Ten of Wands, Five of Wands, sorry, my cats are hissing on each other. Okay, Pisces, what is going on? This feels contentious. Ten of Wands. I don't know, have you been stuck in survival mode? Some of you. I know that when Saturn comes into the second house like this, there's probably a lot of focus on your money and just kind of your material well-being at large. But it does seem like you are carrying quite the burden right now. Maybe some of you are in survival mode. Maybe some of you have been really struggling. Now, I'm not saying you're not working, right? I think you are working, and I think you are dedicated to bringing success into your life. And I think you're doing a lot of the right things. But right now, you're kind of in this grind. And I don't know that you're necessarily satisfied with the results that you've received thus far. Now, I'm not saying you've not received any results. It's just, are you truly satisfied with those results? Do they set well with you? Do you feel comfortable and stable? Because usually when we're in a Ten of Wands place, we don't really feel settled. And especially with Uranus coming over the fourth house cusp, moving into Gemini today, that's a very powerful place for an outer planet to be, is that fourth house line right there. And it just really shakes your whole world. And I think this is a place that maybe has been going on for a long time, or at least a while. And it's a place that perhaps you're sick of. And maybe you're struggling to really figure out how to get out. But Uranus is really going to rock the boat here. And it's going to say, look, Pisces, if you want real change, you're going to have to really change. This is not going to be a matter of like some savior coming in and saving the day. Like, this has to fall on your shoulders. This is the thing with Saturn and Aries. All right, Saturn and Aries for all of us. It's not just Pisces, it's everyone. This is about personal accountability. It is about personal responsibility, and that kind of highlights that if you want your goals to be accomplished, the only one that can do it is you. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to do it for you, right? So it's hard sometimes, not that you expect that or anything, but it's hard sometimes to think like, okay, I thought I was changing and I thought I was working really hard and I thought, but I don't seem to be getting where I want, and this load is getting heavy, really heavy. And so Five of Wands, I'm actually glad for it. It can be a bit chaotic sometimes, but this, I think, is an opportunity for Pisces just kind of throw it all up in the air and say, you know what, I'm going to take my Ten of Wands, I'm going to do something different. Now, I don't mean you're going to full on quit your job and you're going to go do something completely different from what you're already doing or anything. I think it's more about a way of being. It's more about your mentality in the morning. It's about how you talk to yourself. It's about what you believe. It's about how you see opportunities and how you perceive the world. Because if you're perceiving the world in kind of a negative way, or you can only really see the bad, or you think the world is this big scary place or whatever, that's not going to serve you well, right? So it's really about revolutionizing from the inside, revolutionizing from your heart, from your mind, and saying, I am determined to turn my life upside down. And I think maybe that's in a good way, because this perhaps has turned into drudgery. This survival, this hard work, this back-breaking work, it's like how long before you build that castle in the back? How long before you get there? right? Because I kind of feel like you may feel like you're on a treadmill a little bit and it's just going and going and going. So you have to get off the treadmill. You have to do something drastic. Throw yourself into a more competitive market. Throw yourself into some place that you probably don't really want to be. And are you going to have to fight some mental doubts and insecurities and other people's opinions and other people's toxicity? And yes, you are going to have to contend with that. You're going to have to contend with the consequences of what happens when you stop playing that same game, right? Because the question is, have you really been playing the game? Because sometimes it's like we play the game, or we get on the field and we start doing laps and we start doing exercises and we start doing this and we start perfecting this move and we start running this play. But it's like, are you actually playing the game? And I think now it's time for Pisces to really start playing the freaking game, right? You've perfected enough, Pisces. You've done it enough. You've worked hard enough. You've learned enough. Like, this is not about learning. Uranus and Gemini, there will be a lot of learning, but it's a different kind of learning. It's experiential, right? It's through experience. You can learn through books and stuff too, but I think it's just going to be better to just go out into the world and exhibit courage and take brave steps and just go throw yourself into it in a different way. It's not about the laborious, like, same old, okay? But I know that you're going to have to contend with the doubts and the self-sabotaging behavior and reverting back into the old way. Look, when Mars right now is in Virgo and it's starting to make its way into this conjunction with the South Node this week and even on into next week, it's a very powerful astrological situation, same as Uranus moving into Gemini. But the Mars with the South Node means that there has to be a depletion or a decrease of some sort. Now, sometimes that South Node can be really hard. It can be deeply emotional and it can make you feel incredibly detached from what you're doing. So the goal here, I think, is stoicism. And it's really about being able to take a step back, step into this more neutral mode and just say, no more, we're doing something else, and really reprioritizing things. And I'm not going to say that this won't creep in, this will creep in, but it's really a choice to listen to this or not. It's a choice to choose either the Seven of Swords or the Nine of Cups. Now, it's funny that these are two bright yellow cards right next to each other, because the choice is yours. All right, the Nine of Cups is you can either choose to see the opportunity and choose to see how things could possibly be, which I think is your normal MO as a Jupiter-ruled sign, as a Neptune-ruled sign. You tend to see the sense of possibility, but I think one of the hardships of Piscean energy is that it can be a bit, it deals more in the intangible world, right? It's not a tangible type of thing. It deals more in the fantasy realm, in the idea, in the imagination realm, and it has a hard time converting into the material. Well, now that we kind of have placements moved out of Pisces, the only thing we have left is the North Node. But now that Saturn is out of Pisces and Neptune is out of Pisces, it feels more within reach that these big ideals that you have and these big dreams that you have are more likely to occur because they're not in some fantasy form anymore. And now Saturn in Aries is like, all right, well, if you want it, you have to go get it. You have to go create it. You have to go make it happen. It's not going to land in your lap. Okay? But I think you choose the path of wishes coming true as opposed to the path of them not. Because I think that is a choice. You get to choose whether those wishes come true or not. Sometimes I think when we talk about wishes, we do think it is some miraculous thing. And I think sometimes it is. Sometimes it is miraculous. Sometimes it is out of our hands. But to an extent, I think we do have power. And I think right now the universe is asking us to be powerful. And if we want these wishes to come true, we have to go get it. Now, the question is how? How do you do it? Because that's what you were always trying to do with the Ten of Wands. I mean, obviously, you're not just doing this for fun. It's not just for play. You're doing this to get the results, but you're not getting the results. So the question is, how do I go after making my wishes come true? And I really, really think it's the one thing you really don't want to do, which is dive in to the chaos, dive into the competition, dive into the environment that challenges you and pushes you and forces you to work really hard and forces you to not work really hard like drudgery, but like I think there's passion with the Five of Wands, okay? I want to be very clear about that. I think there's passion, I think there's dedication, I think there's commitment, all right? I think there's kind of like the thrill of it's playing a game. It's a thrill of a game. And it's probably something that you've been avoiding. Like I say, you've been running laps, you've been perfecting the plays, you've been working on certain techniques, you've been doing all these like perimeter types of things, but you haven't like gotten on the field. Or it's like you've been playing with your own team, but you haven't played against a real competitor type of thing. So this is for real. This is Uranus moving into the fourth house. He is going to rock your world. There is no doubt. He is going to change the game for you. It's not stable with Uranus in the fourth. You're going to have a little bit more of a pick up and go, but I'm telling you, there is an opportunity over the next 7 years for massive transcendence for many of you, but you have to have the right mentality and the right attitude, because if you feed into the self-sabotage, or if you let other people's negative perspective of you bring you down, you will not succeed. Okay, your mind has to be rock strong. It has to be so almost pig-headed toward the wishes coming true that you can't even hear these naysayers, and you can't even hear the naysayer in your own mind. Now, you will have a naysayer in your own mind, but it's a matter of paying it no mind. Okay? What else for Pisces? What else do you need to know for the month of July? So there seems to be an element of a gift. Now, I just was talking about, things are not going to be handed to you. But I do think that as you are going about your business, people will see and they will be willing to help, right? They will be willing to introduce you to people. They'll be willing to set up that job interview. They'll be willing to send you an email introduction, or they'll be willing to hand you a little bit of money, or whatever the case may be. Or Pisces, this may also be an opportunity for you to be generous as well. I don't know why I'm looking at this top set of cards like as a whole, and I just feel like maybe you have been sitting on the sidelines in some area of your life. Maybe not every area. Like, I'm not saying you're like not working or not taking care of your kids or anything. Like, I know that there's probably just one area where you feel like you want improvement there, but you've been sitting on the sidelines for some reason. Maybe there have just simply been other priorities, which is fine. It's life. We all get there. But I don't think you ever intended to be on the sidelines. That's the whole thing. It's like that was never where you wanted to be. It wasn't ever really where you thought you were even. But somehow it just kind of became that. So whether this is a leg up for you where someone is generous toward you, or if it's an opportunity for you to be generous toward another, either way, this act of generosity seems to be kind of what shakes up this feeling of being pinned down. To me, with the Six of Cups, there's flow, right? Because there's exchange going on. Whereas with the Four of Coins, there's not really a lot of exchange. And perhaps maybe you've been holding back a little bit in terms of, like, I'm not saying you don't give. I think Pisces, naturally very self-sacrificial, naturally very giving, naturally shows up for people, best cheerleader of the zodiac there ever possibly could be. There's a lot of giving there. But I feel like there's a different type of giving that's going to be better for you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and also more lucrative, more financially lucrative as well. and it won't exhaust you. It won't drain you. It won't suck the life out of you. It won't take everything you've got. Right? There's another type of giving. And perhaps maybe it's time to kind of reevaluate what you're giving, how you could potentially give it to receive more for it. I'm feeling the energy of transaction here. And I don't know why the gift giving is showing up for me either. It feels like this is kind of an initiation point. Like something is initiating once this gift is exchanged. Now, it may not be a physical gift, okay? It could just be a favor or someone giving you a piece of advice or something. But it seems to kick something off for me. I don't know why. It feels like a launch. And it feels like a launch, and it's going to help you to realize how pinned down your feet have actually been. And I think there's going to be a moment of illumination here where you're like, again, with that 10 of Wands, it feels heavy, and it feels like it's been going on for a long time, and it feels like you're getting sick of the fact that you haven't really received those results yet. You haven't received the outcome from all of that labor, and I think you're getting very tired of clinging on to just barely something, okay? Now, what's interesting about this reading too, I just noticed we don't actually have any major arcana, which means that you don't have any big cards coming out punching you in the face here. Now, we probably will with the clarifiers once we clarify these for the comprehensive reading, but for now, the general message is it's more about a decision and acting on that decision to throw yourself into something, to throw yourself into the fire, okay? And it's almost as though you kind of have to create, well, I don't know that you have to create it. I think it's probably naturally happening with Uranus in that fourth house there, but something's got to throw a wrench in the spokes. And if something external isn't doing it, you're going to do it yourself, because it's like you have to stop this train. I don't even normally dislike the 10 of Wands. Normally I really like the 10 of Wands, but for me, it feels like, it's like, okay, enough with this, because where is it taking you? You know, how much longer? And I think it's hard to look back on how long you've been in that 10 of Wands place and to realize that it's not really taking you where you wanted to go. And you were so invested in that, so much investment here, and it just doesn't seem to be taking you to where you want to go. So this is a makeshift moment where Pisces decides that their life is going to be different. And in some small way, I don't think it's going to be big this month, okay? But I do think there is a shift, and I think it is quiet, I think it is pivotal, and I think it is life-changing for many of you. And when I say life-changing, I think maybe in like the next 1 to 2 years, you're really going to understand what this month was about when Uranus came into Gemini. I just don't know that you're going to have that clarity yet, because we still have Saturn and Neptune retrograding back into Pisces later. We have Uranus retrograding back into Taurus. And I just don't know that we are completely out of that place. We're still kind of in between worlds a little bit, okay? But just know that decisions right now matter. And if you want your life to change, you are going to have to create ripples. So you're going to have to throw something into the pond here to create those ripples. And it's got to be a big deal. And I say it's got to be a big deal, meaning it's got to be different. That's what I mean. It's got to be vastly different from what you normally do. Page of Cups tells me that there is, I am kind of seeing with the Six of Cups, the Page of Cups, that there's some sort of connection with others in terms of conversation. Yes, we have a lot of Gemini right now, so there's like some conversation going on. There's some messages kind of going back and forth. There's some signs, like maybe you see some sign somehow, some way, shape, or form, like you're getting little pings of things, confirmations, validations. Maybe someone is validating you somehow, or someone is even praising you for something that you didn't really realize about yourself, or you never really gave yourself credit for. But I feel like the universe is just kind of guiding you a little bit in a specific way to kind of help you navigate what these changes are going to look like here, okay? Three of Cups, there does seem to be something social going on, and especially with the Five of Cups, Five of Wands too, right here. Like, I really think Pisces is going to have to engage with people. Now, you may be a naturally social person. You may not be. I don't know where you are on that spectrum. But if you're not a naturally social person, this desire to connect, to talk, to work with people, to go into the office and do this and this and this and this, especially if you're like a remote person, like I would highly recommend going and being around people that lift you up. Friendships, colleagues, family members, whatever, people that make you laugh, people that celebrate you, people that love you. Because if you're going to throw yourself into a game that you kind of thought you were playing, but you actually weren't, if you're going to throw yourself in, you're going to need some moral support, right? You're going to need some, some people there to wrap their arm in yours and say, come on, Pisces, I'm here to support you 100%. And you do need that. If you don't have that, this is a time, I think, to really reconsider your friendship groups, who you're hanging out with, who you're spending time with, how you're relating to people. Because if you really want your life to change, these people have to be on point. There's also celebration of harvest here. So I do think there's going to be some result or some kind of shift that you're looking for here that is going to, again, validate, I see that with the page too, that validation that you're on the right track in terms of how to shake things up. Because I think that you're concerned of like, well, how do I do this? Because I already thought I was doing it. So there's going to be some confusion around that. All right. But I do think you're going to have some clarity by the end, by the beginning of August, really. And then we hit this Three of Wands, which really speaks to abundance and prosperity coming in. Now, I don't want to dangle the carrot and say, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. You're still going to be very active while this is coming in. Like, you're going to be in the Five of Wands. You're going to be swimming. You're going to be playing the game. You're going to be in offense. You're going to be in defense. This stuff is coming in. It's not about sitting and waiting. It's about expecting. Just expect it. Know that it is inevitable that it will come in, but do not stop the activity. Okay, that's very important. Do not stop the activity, especially through Leo season as the sun comes into Leo, sun comes into the 6th house for you. That's going to be a very active house. Okay, lots to do. So let's take a look at the oracle cards. Normally I start with these, but I'm going to finish with these this month. So what is it that Pisces needs to know for July and on into August? We have the buffalo spirit. It says the abundant universe will provide. And there's great wisdom there. And I love the majestic nature of the buffalo because it does feel wise, right? It feels like, yes, this is truth. The abundant universe will provide. And I think you've been afraid that it won't, and that's why the Four of Coins, like you were afraid that the money wasn't there, you were afraid the person wouldn't show up, you were afraid, and I think that fear translated, it carried in, and there was so much, or it was so potent anyway that it's what manifested. The very thing you were afraid of was exactly what would manifest, right? But this little revolution that you're going through right now is going to be an inner vibrational shift so that you don't have to cling anymore. You don't have to grasp. You don't have to hang on to these little scraps. These little scraps. See, time to breathe out. It's time for Pisces to be able to relax, to be able to just be, because this, if it goes on too long, there's moments for this. I like this card. It's not a bad card, but if it goes on for too long, it sucks. It really sucks. And it weighs heavy on your heart, and it makes you question your worth, makes you question your deservingness. And it's just not a good place, right? So we got to pull the rug out from under ourselves in order to get out of this. Okay, we got to throw ourselves into the game here. No fear. All right, so let's pull the clarifiers. So for those of you who are new here, we're going to pull these clarifiers. We're going to open these up, 3 cards per card, so like 30 cards. We're going to talk about all of these in the comprehensive reading. The link for that is in the description box in the comment thread down below. So if you want to join, you are more than welcome to do so. So let's go ahead and get started. So what else does Pisces need to know for the 10 of Wands here? Pisces, 10 of Wands, 10 of Cups. It's like all you ever wanted was to be happy, right? All you ever wanted was that. 2 of Coins, 9 of Cups. I like that we got 9 of Cups twice because it's really about the wishes coming true. King of Cups, Queen of Wands, 6 of Wands. We have the Fool, Ace of Swords, 6 of Swords. We have the Queen of Swords, Knight of Cups, and the Devil. We have the Tower, the Lovers, and another 7 of Cups. I'm going to pull one more since we got a repeat of the 7 and 10 of Coins. We have the Hermit. We have the Knight of Swords. We have the 5 of Cups, Page of Swords, the Empress, and the 8 of Coins. The 8 of Cups, Ace of Coins, beautiful aces. What was this card again? I'm sorry, I forgot. Page. Beautiful Chariot, Hanged Man, Page. Finally, we have the Moon, the 3 of Swords, and the Strength card. All right, Pisces, so this is where we're going to pick up, all right? So if you want to join, again, all that info is in the description box and the comment thread down below. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful July. Good luck with everything, and I truly wish you nothing but the best.